Hey friends, we're on week 3 of our one-year Bible challenge, and this week we start the story of Job, a blameless and righteous man in the sight of God, who Satan asked the question of God, does Job not fear God, and wanted him to be tested. And God said that he would allow Satan to test Job, but that he must spare his life. And so Satan, in very quick swiftness, on one day took away Job's property, his oxen, his sheep, all his servants, his sons, his 7 sons and 3 daughters, in one fell swoop. So he lost everything. But yet his wife was spared, and he had 3 friends who walked with him during his extreme grief. And this week, as you read about Job's experience, you will encounter the depths of Job's grief that he works through, that many of us have encountered in our own lives. Maybe not to the degree that Job has suffered loss, but certainly we all have suffered loss of a loved one and understand and relate to Job's cries. Job is so distraught that he wishes the day that he was born was forever erased from the memory of this life and in this earth. And so you'll see as you read this week how Job's relationship with God is tested through his despair, through his cries for help. And yet he has well-meaning friends who come alongside in his grief and think that our relationship with God is one of rewards out of obedience to God and punishment out of disobedience to God. But Job knows that there's more to our relationship with God than just punishment and rewards. Even his wife says, "Why don't you curse God and die? Something you must have done brought all this on. How can you continue to walk in integrity?" And amazingly, you'll read this week how Job says, "Naked I came into this world, and naked I will leave. The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Praise be the name of the Lord." I mean, what amazing words to say in the hour of complete and utter loss. But yet, if you'll read through the scriptures, you'll see little evidences in this week's reading, and I won't give away the verses, but I want you to see and try and find where Job has hope in the midst of his cries. There's about 4 references in this week's readings where Job begins to identify and lean on his Redeemer. To us, that's Jesus. And there's a very famous passage that, sorry, I'm trying to find something here to share with you. There's a very famous passage that everyone knows, Job 19:25, "For I know that my Redeemer lives." And there are other passages leading up to this passage that talk about the Redeemer. But I'm sitting here at Union Cemetery in Palatine, where just this last week we buried a wonderful, faithful, fruitful follower of God and a friend of many. And I read those words to his dear family to bring comfort to them in their hour of grief about that Jesus does live, and that we too have that same faith in the hour of desperation that Job had when he cried out, "For I know that my Redeemer lives." Listen to these words by Job. "Oh, that my words were written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book, that they were engraved on a rock with an iron pen and lead forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at the last on earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, but not another. How my heart yearns within me." This is the hope that pulled Job out of desperation, out of despair, out of wanting the day that he was born to be forever erased from this earth. This was the hope of his Savior that he knew his Redeemer lived, and that he brings about life forever. May this message ring true to you and speak deeply to you as you discover and walk with Job, and perhaps relate with him in many and various ways. May God bless your reading this week. Take care.